What is up, guys? Welcome back to Cop Logic. I'm back. The Europa League is back, so let's dive into it. We're starting away. It is LASK versus Liverpool. Now, as always, make sure you get your score predictions down in the comments below. We'll take a look through those. But we are going to take a look at this fixture. We're going to go through our starting 11, and we're going to do a score prediction at the end as well, so make sure you stick around for the ending. First thing I want to do, though, is take a look at this fixture and, of course, the two teams. Normally, we do a head-to-head look at the last 5 games, but that's pointless because I don't believe Liverpool have ever played LASK before, certainly not that I ever remember, so pointless to look at any sort of head-to-head meetings between the two teams. But what we can do is look at the team's current form, and interestingly enough, both teams are on the same form. In the last 5 games, Liverpool have won 4, drew 1, and LASK have won 4 and drew 1, so it's safe to say both teams are in very good form. Both teams are currently on an unbeaten streak. Liverpool unbeaten so far this season in the Premier League, so yeah, both teams in great form. But it's obviously worth mentioning that LASK play in the Austrian Bundesliga and Liverpool play in the Premier League, so there's a severe drop off there in terms of your level of competition and also the level of the team as well. So comparing their form, it doesn't really help, and that's why I'm not going to spend too long on this section really. What I will say, my only worries for this game are that, you know, first of all, we're away from home, and second of all, LASK, it feels like to me this is a free hit for them, right? Because if LASK lose to Liverpool, nobody bats an eyelid. If LASK beat Liverpool, then it's a huge upset. So they're kind of like that opponent that have nothing to lose, and an opponent with nothing to lose is a dangerous opponent because they can kind of come out and throw everything at this if they want to. Whether they lose or not, it doesn't really matter because it's, as I say, it's like a free hit to them, so that can be dangerous. They do need to be taken seriously because they are going to try and win this, because really for them it would be amazing, and if they lose it would be expected. So for Liverpool, there is some pride at stake, and there is that aspect of don't get complacent, don't be negligent, make sure you take your opponent seriously. But Jurgen Klopp's been here before, done this before, he knows the drill, so I don't expect him to be negligent. Obviously I expect a lot of changes. The other benefit of the Europa League, of course, is that it's a chance for Jurgen to experiment with fringe players, with younger, more inexperienced players. So this is going to be an interesting team selection. Definitely it's going to be a challenge for me to pick one as well, and it's going to be interesting to see with what Jurgen Klopp comes up with. But it is a benefit, it's definitely a good thing that we've now got this competition to experiment with. Certainly in the group stage we're gonna get to see a lot more of the fringe players, see what they can do, see where they're at this season, and also some of the youth players. It might be a chance for them to break through into the squad and show us what they're capable of. So that nicely brings us on to the team selection, which we're just going to get straight into this week because, you know, there's not much to say about the two teams. So we're starting off with the goalkeeper, and I have gone with Jurgen Klopp. Now this actually, believe it or not, was a difficult choice for me because I wanted to pick Alisson Becker just because I am planning, spoiler alert, to make a number of changes in this team selection, and I wanted a spine of seniority going through that, which would start with Alisson Becker, because, you know, you make too many changes, things can become very unsettled, and you need experienced heads in a game like this. But it's fair to say Kelleher is experienced, you know, he's been in some high stakes games, namely like the Carabao Cup final, for example. But I also just think at some point we have to allow him to play some football because he's shown a lot of loyalty to this club over the summer. I think a lot of people expected him to go this summer, and I think a lot of people wouldn't have blamed him if he had gone this summer. The fact he stayed is huge for us because we know his quality. He's absolutely fantastic goalkeeper. As a number 2, it's crazy. He could be starting in another team in the Premier League, in my opinion, and I think that has to be rewarded at some point. This is a great opportunity for him. The Europa League could be his competition, at least until we're out of those group stages, maybe quarterfinals, you bring Alisson Becker in, I don't know. At right back, I've gone for Joe Gomez because we already know Trent Alexander-Arnold is not going to be fit for this match. Unfortunately, the likelihood of him playing on the weekend is also very slim. I think he's not expected to be doing ball work in training until early next week, so that's not great, and it probably means Joe Gomez can't play this full 90 minutes because we are going to have to be careful with him because we definitely need him for the weekend. But I've been happy with Joe Gomez's performances so far this season. I thought he played well against Wolves, I have to say. Certainly we could have been 2-0 down very early on against Wolves if it wasn't for Joe Gomez, so I'm actually happy with Joe Gomez as a right back. I'm not too concerned about this choice. I'm only concerned that I don't want him to pick up an injury because we're going to need him for the weekend. Partnering Joe Gomez as our left fullback, I'm going with Kostas Tsimikas. Very similar reasons to Jurgen Klopp, in simply that nothing against Robbo, of course, but this is an opportunity to rest Robbo, and it's an opportunity for Kostas Tsimikas to come in and show us what he can do. Yeah, it's just similar to Jurgen Klopp. We can't keep him out of the team forever. We have to give these players an opportunity. He is a fringe player at Liverpool right now, and he deserves an opportunity to show us what he can do. So hopefully it's a big game for Kostas Tsimikas, but I'm going Kostas Tsimikas. And for the two centre-backs, I'll do them both together. I've gone Virgil van Dijk and I've gone Jarell Quansah. Now, Quansah, I think, has performed very well. Certainly against Wolves, I had absolutely no problem with him. He also came on against Newcastle. I had no problem there either. Konate is going to be fine to play on a weekend, and he could have started this game, but I think why risk it when we can play Quansah, who has been playing really well. And it's more of a reward in that sense as well. His last couple of performances for Liverpool, I think he's been great. I think he looks really good, especially for his age. This is a great opportunity for him in this competition to get some time and show us what he can do. This is going to be a big competition for him. I could probably see him starting a number of these group stage games, and I'm starting Virgil van Dijk alongside him for one reason is that we've made wholesale changes here across the back line. Virgil van Dijk is the start of that experienced spine that I was talking about going through the field. It's also someone to wear the captain's armband because Trent and Robbo are not in. So we've got our captain back. Obviously, he's missed the last 2 games due to serving his suspension. This is a great game for him to come back in and get some minutes in his legs and get himself up to speed ahead of the weekend, where I also expect him to play. And that allows us to move now into our midfield. Let's start with the central defensive midfielder. I've gone Wataru Endo as CDM for the simple reason that, again, this is that experienced spine going up the middle of the pitch. It's someone that can hold the lads around him down, someone that can put some composure into the game and calm things down if things get astray. With a team that's made a number of changes, that can happen. We've seen it before in the past, so I think it's important to have an experienced spine across the field. Jurgen Klopp's going to bring him on to close games down, which means he's not going to get that many starts. I don't expect him to start on the weekend. I think now that Ryan Gravenberch is in as well, once he's up to speed and Stefan Bajcetic is fully back and fit from injury, we're going to see a lot less of Wataru Endo starting games, but we will see him come on and close games. So that for me means that he's perfectly capable of starting this game without risking too much in terms of his fitness. Right mid and left mid, I've gone Harvey Elliott and Ryan Gravenberch. Now, Harvey Elliott, let's talk about him first. I think his last couple of appearances for Liverpool off the bench against Wolves, off the bench against Newcastle, he was amazing. I think he genuinely was changing games. I think he's having a huge impact when he's coming off the bench, and that deserves being rewarded with a start. So that's what this is here. He's actually creating such a good link up with Darwin Núñez and Mo Salah. We saw it at Newcastle, and I feel like we saw it again at Wolves. I'll be honest with you, I thought Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz and Harvey Elliott, especially in that Wolves game, changed the game. They're the reason we won the game. Despite them not getting on the score sheet, obviously Harvey Elliott thing was an own goal, but I do think those 3 players were key for changing that game, and I think there's this nice little diamond being created between Harvey Elliott, Mo Salah and Darwin Núñez that I'm really liking the look of. Ryan Gravenberch, on the other hand, hasn't started for Liverpool yet. This is just a great game and a great competition for him, again, to get some minutes in his legs, get him up to speed so that he can start starting those games in the Premier League. Moving into the attack, let's start with the right wing because it's normally nailed on Mo Salah. This time I'm going with Ben Doak. Again, it's similar to the Tsimikas sort of Kelleher thing of like, we can't keep him out forever. He's looking really good, and actually in the international break, Scotland played Spain, and I believe even all of the Spanish press were talking about Ben Doak and how good he was. This guy looks like he's genuinely really exciting, and this could be a really good competition for him, a great opportunity for him to show us and the world what he is capable of. So I'm pretty excited to see him. I am expecting him to start. Of course, Mo Salah is going to be on a bench if we need him, if we need to bring him off to turn a game around if things are a disaster, but I don't think they will be. I think this guy's really exciting. We've seen in pre-season how good he was, even alongside Darwin Núñez as well. I remember him getting that assist in pre-season. So yeah, this guy I'm excited to see, and I think this is a really good competition for him. Left wing, joining him, I've gone with Diogo Jota. I actually have been underwhelmed with Diogo Jota's performances so far this season, and that's not me saying that he's bad. I just think he's probably disappointed himself in what he's been doing. I think this is a good game for him to get some confidence back, maybe get a goal or 2, and you know, we all know what he's capable of. I just want to see him get back to his best, and this is the game to do that. So I'm going Diogo Jota because I think he's having a hard time getting into the team at the moment. You know, Luis Diaz is on absolute fire on that left wing, and then down the middle with Cody Gakpo, Darwin Núñez and Diogo Jota to pick from. I think he is just having a tough time, and you know, this is going to be a good game for him, so I put him in. Obviously I'm resting Luis Diaz because I would expect start on the weekend, so this is a perfect opportunity for Diogo Jota to get a start for Liverpool. Now finally down the middle, this one has been an interesting decision for me. I really couldn't decide who I wanted to go with, but ultimately I have gone with our Lord and Saviour Darwin Núñez. Now I was heavily considering Cody Gakpo here because similarly to Diogo Jota. I have been somewhat underwhelmed by Cody Gakpo's performances so far this season, but it's been a struggle for him as well. He started a number of games in the midfield, and this could be a really great game for Cody Gakpo to come in, get a couple of goals, get some confidence back, remind himself what he can do. We all obviously know what he's capable of. So if he was to start this game, if Jurgen Klopp was to select him, I wouldn't blame him at all. I could see it happening, but for me, I've gone with Darwin Núñez because I firmly believe Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Mohamed Salah is our best attacking front three, and I think this is a great game for Darwin Núñez to bag a few goals, get his confidence up ahead of the weekend, where I would also start him if it was up to me. So I'm not expecting him to finish this game. I'd maybe give Darwin 60 minutes in this game, then throw Cody Gakpo on. But if Darwin can get a couple of goals in the first 60 minutes and then we take him off, that's going to set us up really well for the weekend, where I would start Darwin Núñez alongside the other two players I just mentioned. So spoiler alert there for that preview, but I've gone with Darwin Núñez. That justifies my team selection. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree with that, and that brings us nicely on to our score prediction. Now, as you can see in the odds down below here, it's heavily weighted in Liverpool's favour at 80%. LASK only with a 3% chance of a win there, draw 17%. Now look, I think I've been fairly respectable to LASK there when you look at that team selection. We've got that spine of seniority that I was talking about, Virgil van Dijk, Endo, and then Darwin Núñez, and let's not forget, you know, the likes of Diogo Jota, Joe Gomez, Kostas Tsimikas. They've all got experience. They are experienced players, so this is by no means a disrespectful team, I don't think. I think I'm taking LASK seriously here. I think this is a solid team. I think this is a team more than capable of beating LASK. So despite the changes at the back, I think with Virgil van Dijk and the quality of Caoimhin Kelleher and Endo in that CDM role, I honestly think we keep a clean sheet here. I've got to be honest, I know we're away from home. I could be being naive. This could come back to haunt me, but I think a clean sheet and I think a solid win for Liverpool. If we get an early goal, then I think any belief is shattered for LASK. I think the wind comes out of their sails and we can romp home to a very comfortable victory. Providing we get an early goal, I'm going to go Liverpool 4, LASK 0. Who knows about the goal scorers? I'm hoping for a couple for Darwin, maybe one for Jota. Who knows, honestly? I mean, even Ryan Gravenberch came off the bench late against Wolves and nearly got himself a goal, so you never know. Could it be a debut start goal for Ryan Gravenberch? Let's wait and see, but I'm going Liverpool 4, LASK 0. Let me know, as always, what you guys think in the comments, and stay tuned to the channel for all your Liverpool news going forwards. I am well and truly back now, so hopefully the regular content will resume. Thank you guys for sticking with us through that little interim, and as always, we will see you guys in the next video. Peace.